Everybody talks about discipline, about doing the things that you don't like to do, but doing them like you love it. And now, while that might be important, nobody talks about self-regulation. And the difference between the two is that sure, discipline is hard ass, doing this, doing that all day, waking up early, cold plunging at 5 a.m. And sure, that might have been a season of my life. But more importantly, nobody talks about self-regulation and holding yourself accountable, withstanding from all these pleasures. And really, it's a very esoteric approach to yourself, to developing your character and becoming a better human. And I see that more linear in growth than I do discipline, because discipline can almost lead you in a loop of doing the same things over and over and over. Rather, with self-regulation, you're constantly growing. And I think that it's all about looking for new opportunity to find within yourself, to realize that there's always certain areas where you can constantly grow. And there are certain areas in my life right now that I am lacking that I need to improve more on. And so self-regulation is what needs to be tapped into growing myself, gaining a better skill set, communicating with people, actually listening and taking in information, remembering people's names. Discipline, sure, is good for the short term and achieving a long goal over a certain time horizon, but self-regulation, it doesn't stop. Motivation is not even a question. Motivation fades right away. But those little bits of inspiration that you might feel from that motivation can develop into a process of actually growing yourself internally, and therefore your results will come externally. And so it starts within. Everything starts within, and that's something that I need to work on. I have not been connected with my higher self recently. I have not been connected with God, with my goals. And sure, I might be in the right direction. The path is dark. The path is going into the unknown. And it's about holding yourself accountable. Because over the past weeks, I have not been the person that is going and is worthy of achieving the results that I desire. And so reflecting on everything that you, me, that and the third person, what are things that we can be achieving and doing in these little wins each day that are going to help us and push the needle forward? Because if I'm not feeling like the needle's going anywhere, then that's just going to cause a sense of regret of where has the time gone? What have I been doing this past X amount of days or X amount of weeks? Because it compounds. And with that weight of all that time that has just gone by, it loads up. And you need something to deload. And it's not pleasure, but it's going through every single one of those things that's built up on top of you, one by one, and just calming down. You're starting from square one. You were once at 100, but now you got to start right back at square one. Because these little things are building up, the temptation to veer off and go other places, it's always going to be there. And that's something that I always find struggling myself. It's challenging to withstand, but it's just what's necessary, because that's what separates the 99% of people against the 1%. It's not something easy. And if it was easy to be a millionaire, if it was easy to run your own business, if it was easy to wake up 5 a.m. every single day, if it was easy, everybody would be doing it. But no, this is not easy. Nobody wants to do it. But that spark, if you have a spark within you, you are special. I am special because I have that spark inside of me, and I'm just nurturing the flame. But, and this is the but, this is the but that I find most challenging, is because that little voice in there, it doesn't stop. It keeps going and going and going, and it tempts you with this and it tempts you with that. Oh, I'll do it tomorrow. When that voice takes over, you allow the seat of consciousness, your perception, to be shifted. You're no longer on this track of growing linearly, but you're veering off. In a game of speed, in a game of life, we're given this amount of time. And when you're trying to go from here to here, it's a straight path. It's simple. Okay, I got to do this, this, and this. And if I stick forward with it for 5, 10 years, I'm going to be getting here. But that 5, 10, 20 years turns into 100 years. And that's why nobody ever accomplishes anything in this time frame. Because they delay it, they delay it, they delay it, they delay it. And in a game of speed, when you're trying to get towards that outcome and you go and you smoke weed, that's 4 hours gone. Because you could have been sitting down for 4 hours, learning a skill, improving yourself, going to the gym, working on your business, connecting, expanding your network. But that's sadly not the way that the human mind, at least mine, functions. And so I'm not a perfect being by any means. As I find myself, as I understand myself more on a depth level of going down rather than all these other things that I have going on, but depth of seeing parts of myself that nobody sees. I see so many different flaws and so many different holes that I find that are just constantly grow when I don't tighten them. I don't tighten my circle. I don't tighten my habits. I don't tighten the people I surround myself with. They just continue to grow. It's like parasites, and parasites in your mind. And when those parasites take over, that little voice, it grows louder. And that's what creates an individual like me right now. And speaking how I'm speaking is because I don't like the person that I've been. I don't like the habits that I've been doing. I don't like the people that I've been surrounded by.